Good morning, you guys. Let's go over the overnight session and what I'm looking at going into today's session. So this is where we ended yesterday's session. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the extended hours. So looking at the price action, you see that we do hold this traditional from Friday's low to Monday's high. It does hold in the overnight session here where it trades once during Asia. So we open up with this move down, trade this 690s to profit targets, consolidate a little bit around this 775, come up here. Looks like right here you could see that we do have, looks like some exhaustion at this level right here as sellers try to reload for this second move. So as we come back down and we retest the 775s, we go, sellers fail to push the price below the 70.75, go up, and then we consolidate a little bit. We have this ATR expansion here right at the London Open where they try to push that price a little bit lower, and then we have this leg start up. So coming out of that low, we could see that this 775 did hold in the overnight session with that target above here at 808. So if you see, it looks like we do kind of rotate into what looks like a extension series. And let me back into an even smaller time frame. It's kind of hard to see. So it looks like we do rotate into an extension series. Say probably right here, where this holds at 785, completes its targets. Then it trades again right here. Actually, this looks like a pretty aggressive series. Probably right here. So we are holding extensions in the overnight session, completing profit targets. We do have some ATR expansion going on. So I would assume, since this is only 10 points above that, we are most likely going to hit this profit target, just given this momentum of this move. And so what I would kind of be looking for in the S&P going into today's session is just first a completion of this target. And one of two things is going to happen. When we open up, and let's check here. When we open up, and you can see that we do have some good participation here. Bump into a smaller time frame. As you can see, it is starting to pick up actually right here. So we rotate down and you can actually see we do have some participation coming in at this level, 775. So going into the open, you kind of want to keep that in mind that the London session is positioned long. So that's why sometimes off the open, you'll see we have that drive up and then all in the first 15 minutes, and then it'll reverse. So these people are going to be looking to take profits off of the open. Let's see, where did we close yesterday? Balance area is about 780s to 798. So we are going to be opening, looks like, near the top of the balance area from yesterday's session. So you also want to keep that in mind. If we do make a push up off of the open, you just want to be careful. That's not like a great area to chase longs. What I'd be more interested in is one of two things. Either potentially a retest wherever this extension puts its leg in. Let's say there. I would be looking for either a retest of some lower supports for continuation higher, maybe wait for them to take some profits first, either near this 808 or near this 800s. It doesn't look like we have crazy participation at that level when we tested it yesterday. So I probably would be looking for price to break a little bit higher, put in a nice leg start down, and that's where I would be looking for a pullback for the S&P. So for right now, since this level hasn't been tested in the regular trading hours just yet, the 775, I might be looking for these to hold. And let's just really quickly take a look at the cash market. So cash market closed around 640, and we are trading about a little bit higher in the ES. So just keep in mind that there will be a gap in the cash market as well when we open. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ really quick and see. So kind of same thing here. We rotate up into this traditional short off of this high in the Globex open. We hit those profit targets here, which coincides with this long series. Consolidate here, you can actually see that sellers do reload at this level here at 5150s, fail to push that price lower, and then we have a move back out of that low where you could see sellers do try to reload here. They push the price a little bit lower, and now we have that participation stepping up around that London open, look below and fail on this level, and then followed by a move higher, consolidation back again near where these sellers had initiated, and then we get into that seller exhaustion, which is what I really talk about a lot, is looking for exhaustion. So we have, looks like we have exhaustion here at this level. If you know harmonics, you can actually recognize those harmonic patterns. And then we can see here, we do have this participation stepping up right here, trading this traditional to its profit targets. So it's kind of what I am looking at right now. Again, since these levels have not been tested yet in the regular trading hours, I think that's already marked, I still have these marked for now. And one of two things, either we will potentially could come back and retest these and retrace this move, that's not that crazy, or in a really aggressive sequence, we will just kind of either hold this traditional out of this low, or kind of, let me bump into a smaller time frame, or we will kind of hold this extension series out of this low, come back down, retest these levels here for a continuation higher, with that target above at 25.26, 25.27s, and going into a higher time frame, we can just see where we are inside of this move. So this series does hold, and that's why whenever I see these bars change colors, this is my confirmation that participation has entered at these fib levels. There's times where I draw these and I don't see my bars change, and to me it just means that there's just less participation at that level and less interest at that level. So I am cautious when I do see, as you see, different, I have a lot of different color bars. I have yellow, blue, I have certain red. When I see these, it for me shows that we are most likely going to come up and complete those profit targets, with this one above at 52.90s. So we are coming up on the completion of this profit target. And when I do see this strong participation, that's where I start to maybe look at some of these potential upside targets here. So for this series, this one will target 57.20s. So that's where, you know, mechanical levels do get a little bit messy with all these different levels, because as you can see, there's a series here from a higher time frame. We have smaller time frame series here. And that's kind of what I was mentioning with another video, that whenever you're trading a counter sequence, like me, for example, I do use ATR based targets. And as you can see, let's look here. So coming out of this series, this does trade here, kind of around here. And if you're using an ATR based target, the 1.5 ATR is about 16 points. So that's 200. Right here is 162. So if you're using these, either 1.5 or 3 ATR, you know, once you pass 3 ATR, you're kind of getting a little bit far past what the typical range is. And so whenever we're at a 3 ATR move, depending on how long I've been in the position, that's where I reevaluate it. So if we make a 3 ATR move like immediately, maybe I'm not going to close that right away. I might monitor it. But if we have, you know, maybe like a 1.5 ATR move, and then I'm still holding it, another 20, 30, 40 minutes passes, and then now we're at 3 ATR, that's just a typical move. And I would be monitoring for a potential, you know, either reversal or pullback. That's how I use ATR targets, especially when we are in a counter sequence. So I will trade both sides of a move, but when we are in a higher time frame bullish sequence like we were, I'm going to lean more on my ATR based targeting rather than these levels, because of course I could draw this fib and I could look at all these downside targets like 25.033, and the reality is that is so far beyond the ATR that seems, unless the market is also showing weakness, which you would see on the VIX, this target's most likely not going to hit. These targets are most likely not going to hit. Because you could see we come down and have a strong reaction off of this second downside target, and with a nice reverse. So if you were holding this here, this is not a good sign for me. You see here we have ATR expansion down, failed to push lower, ATR expansion bar up. So we are about to complete those profit targets in the NASDAQ. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. As you can see, we literally, just making this video, have already hit these targets. So that's kind of what I am watching for. I would just be careful chasing up here, because you see I have so many targets up here. And for people that don't know this, algorithms are programmed to trade Fibonacci sequences. So they're programmed to take profits at these levels as well. So just keep that in mind going into the day. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Gonna have some support around here now. And anytime we have these resistance levels that break, like so, you can kind of consider this to be a good support level, because this is a two-sided transaction. So when sellers are selling here, you have to consider that somebody's buying this. There's somebody on the opposite end of the trade. So as they sell here, somebody's buying. When somebody's buying here, somebody's selling. So as sellers reload here, somebody was buying. Somebody's positioned long here. They fail to push the price lower, and we have a second period of consolidation. So we have 1, 2, 3 periods of consolidation at this level. So I do anticipate bulls to potentially either one of two things: defend this level here, and if they fail to defend this level, we will get that flush below this 51.70s, and then just a potential retest of near where this ATR expansion came in. As we can see, we do have responsive buying that has stepped in at this 107s. So that's kind of what I have going into today for the S&P and the NASDAQ. Looks like we got another ATR expansion. So I'll kind of adjust this right here. That's kind of what I'm looking at going into today. I'm going to remove this one. And then for fibs, same thing. When you draw these, you can consider these to be invalid above whatever these purple levels are. So as we push above that purple level, shorts are starting to become invalidated. They're now becoming forced buyers above this level, which is why you will see that we do get some, let's see. So you see right around where this purple level is, where I consider a technical failure in this short sequence, the bars start to change purple because sellers now become forced buyers. Whoever was short and did not cover at these lows, or whoever tried to initiate shorts at these levels, now become forced buyers as their shorts become invalidated above this yellow level and purple level. So that's how I use Fibonacci sequences. So hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. And of course, there's always the potential that if we do not maintain these moves, that we will retest lower support levels. That's not that crazy. So at least you know kind of where, this kind of gives you a map of where there is potential for distribution at these highs and where price will revisit if these fail to hold, like so. Right here and right here. Especially for the NASDAQ, actually, since the book is a little bit thinner than ES, it just moves a little bit wider and it obeys these supply and demand levels a lot cleaner, in my opinion. So keeping that in mind, you know that these smaller extension series become invalid a lot sooner than some of these bigger macro levels do. And if this fails, you kind of have an idea of roughly where those downside targets are going to become retested. So hopefully this helps you guys out, and trade safe, everybody.